Welcome to Sideline Report. I'm Marvin Jackson. The Washington Commanders are headed up 95 to Philadelphia in the NFC Championship game as they had a great game against the Detroit Lions, the top-seeded NFC team. And here to discuss all that are Donna Hopkins, Lou Holder, and our special guest, Santana Moss, former Washington footballer. And also we have an ESPN guy who is dressed a little bit different, but Kevin Negandhi from ESPN, host and anchor. Welcome to the show, man.
It's a pleasure and honor to be joined by you guys. As I mentioned and joked around, I know my audience, so I have to balance it out a little bit with this Kelly Green heading into the weekend, because it's going to be a dogfight Sunday, and I'm looking forward to it.
Hey, let's get right to it. I mean, that was a great victory for Washington, 7 straight victories, I believe, and winning over the number 1 seed in the NFC. Kevin, start out for us. What'd you see there in that game?
I saw a team that didn't care about seeding, didn't care about environment, that went there on a mission. And honestly, they punched the Lions in the face. And the Lions had that confidence to say, hey, we're a team of destiny. It felt like all season Detroit felt like a team of destiny. We got the 1 seed, everything's lining up perfectly. And then you got a rookie quarterback that, when you're that young and things go your way, you don't think about making mistakes. You think about what else can I do? And what I was blown away by is on every possession, especially early in the game, Washington didn't get their foot off the pedal and said, we are going to score and we're going to do whatever we can. And when you have that type of confidence, especially at the leadership position that number 5 has in Jayden Daniels, and how that team basically gravitates to anything he does, it changes everything. You guys have been through it over the last 2 decades. You understand kind of like the mentality when you have somebody special and everybody gravitates to it, compared to somebody who kind of brings everybody down. And this whole Washington team is kind of a breath of fresh air from top to bottom with everything that they brought in. And they brought that to Detroit. And they said, hey, forget about the past. We're going to rewrite whatever we're going to do forward. And I got to tell you, I'm excited about Sunday, but I'm scared about it too. There's that nervous energy because they are riding momentum. And when you have a hot quarterback that everybody believes in, watch out. The sky's the limit on what can happen.
Santana.
Yeah, I'm with Kevin, man. I got to piggyback off of him. I saw a team that went in there, didn't really care about the hype. They didn't care about what was said throughout the week. I think all year long, when you listen to Dan Quinn speaks and the way he kind of, reiterates some of the things that he tell the guys, it's always about them. It's never been about their opponents. And that's what I love about him. That's why every week I come in there just as calm as them. I have a blank stare on because I understand that this is our year to honestly watch good football being played. Like it hasn't been a game, even when we had that 3-game skid, it hasn't been a game that we wasn't in. And so this is what this team knows. They know to be in the game. And I went into that game on Saturday not expecting nothing different. You know what I mean? I wanted to see this team go out there and play the way they've been playing all year long. But what they did, they surprised us all and say, hey, we know this is number 1 seed, but that don't mean we have to lay down. And so I was sitting up there smiling way too early. I didn't want to get too happy and drink the Kool-Aid. So I was trying to keep my serious face on the whole time. But I saw a well-coached team that went up there and took the fight to Detroit and said, hey, we're going to show you, what we're about. And they did just that.
Yeah, it took everything for me to stay in my seat, like Santana said, because my face was like priceless as I watched Adam Peters over across from me, just enjoying that game. I saw a team that with that noise up there didn't get rattled because it was crazy loud up there. But this team went in there and did not make mistakes on offense. I mean, they didn't jump off sides. They didn't have the penalties that they've had in the past. And then I saw a defense that stood up against that offense of the Lions. And that was totally surprising to me because they were aggressive up front. The secondary, anytime you walk away with 5 turnovers, who does that? And so I think that I was telling Coach Quinn this week, asking him about the calmness of this team. You saw it last week in the locker room, and it seems like that no moment is too big for this team. And they show that going on the road to go up there and beat the Detroit Lions, not just beat them, at the end of the game, but they put their foot on their neck and put their foot on the gas pedal and never let up. So that's what I saw on this team, is that they're not afraid of anybody right now. I think everybody, they're to open up everybody's eyes. And as Kevin said and Santana said, that you got a young quarterback that's put this team on his back and basically took his game up to another level. Not only did he take the game up to another level, but this whole team took it up to another level.
Hey, Lou, your boy, Luvu, I mean, he really got a great hit on the quarterback golf, and he's just playing hard, and that's your man. I mean, this team is made up of a bunch of guys like that, right?
Absolutely. I mean, the not only Frankie Louvu, I mean, what you saw there, and Kevin and Santana and Donna had mentioned it, the calmness and the maturity of this team. The Bobby Wagners, the Zach Ertz, the coming in there, they don't know anything about the losing culture that's been in Washington just by, they saw it from afar. But when they came in there, these are the kind of games that they were brought in here for, because they know how to play on the highest level, not just getting into the playoffs, but getting far into the playoffs. And I think this is one of those years that a week off for Detroit was kind of detrimental when you had the momentum. This team is riding momentum. And I think what happened right there is you had the team that was still hurting. Aaron Glenn's unit was still hurting on defense. And then you had the Washington, as much as they play, the longer they play together, the more confidence they are building. And I just think that that's what you saw. You saw the momentum moving, and one in Detroit that they were just trying to find their footing. And that's what I saw. But yeah, people like Louvu, they are helping the Sandra Stills and the Quan Martins and the young boys. They're helping them understand that, hey, look, you have no fear.
We're going to finish up talking about Washington and Philly and Kansas City game coming up. And we're going to be just talking some NFL championship football. And let's start off with the Washington Commanders going up to Philadelphia to take on division rival. This is going to be some kind of game, right, Santana?
Yes, to be the tiebreaker, man. I think when you look at this, man, we both of us beat up on each other this year. And that's one of the things you expect about divisional games. And tell you the truth, man, from what I'm seeing social media wise and just from what I'm hearing from other folks, Philly can't wait because they just feel like they already packing their bags. I've heard fans already talking about planning their trip to New Orleans, and guess what? I love it. I love to hear the shade. I see Kevin is on the show right now with the shade. Please throw more shade, because that's what we felt when we went into Detroit. That's the same thing we felt when we went into Tampa. And guess what? Who stood tall? Left hand up. So I'm going to sit here and just allow all the guys, all those birds, the Eagles, go Eagles, Eagle fly, to throw all the shade they can, because at the end of the day, I want to be standing tall and be the last one to have something to say.
I'm going to say this. I'm one of those guys that is fully aware of both sides and understands. And also, I'm a heartbroken Philadelphia fan through the years. So I am not packing one bag to New Orleans, even though I'll be there. I'm not packing any Eagle Green yet, okay? I'm going to say, to me, like, there's a lot of people in Philadelphia who feel like, hey, Jalen Hurts missed 3/4 of that last game with a concussion. Devontae Smith makes that catch from Kenny Pickett, the game's over, right? So there's a lot of people that are saying that in Philadelphia to feel good about, hey, that second performance. But the reality is everybody knows that anything can happen with Jayden Daniels there. When you're that young in the NFL, you think you're going to do this every year. You don't understand the ramifications of getting to the NFC Championship game. Guys like Bobby Wagner, Zach Ertz, like Lou brought up, they're aware that this doesn't happen every year. So we're going to calm everybody down. We're also not going to be fazed by the environment, the atmosphere, because it's going to be nuts. It's going to be really crazy. It's going to actually take me back to the 90s when the Eagles and the Washington franchise went head-to-head, right? So to me, the most important thing from the Philadelphia perspective is you're going to run the football because you guys defensively have had trouble stopping the run. I felt like Detroit got away from that. They had a lot of success early on with Jahmyr Gibbs, and then they fell in love with some trick plays. I still don't understand what Jameson Williams was doing throwing that football down by 10 points. It changed the entire game in the second half, right? So they were trying to do too much with Jared Goff. My thing is, where's Jalen Hurts' knee? His decision-making throwing the football down the field. One thing we've seen with Jalen Hurts, though, Hurts will take the sack instead of give the turnover. And we saw that, and that's driving a lot of Philadelphia fans crazy because he took 7 sacks in the snow, but 0 turnovers. And that is the key, as we saw with the Lions. Those turnovers were killer, and it set up the momentum for the offense for the Commanders. So going into this game, you guys are going to stack the box up to stop 26. Can Jalen Hurts make 5 or 6 throws? I think throws that are like 12 to 15 yards downfield to kind of keep the defense honest. And I think that will determine a lot here. One other thing I'll add. Quinyon Mitchell's health is so critical against Terry McLaurin because Quinyon was fantastic in that first game. In that second game with Quinyon now, I thought they got Terry involved a little bit more in that second game. Now with Quinyon dealing with that shoulder injury, what are they going to do with this matchup? That to me scares the heck out of me.
Hey, Kevin, I'm kind of laughing at you right now when you said that the Philadelphia Eagles fans are trying to, justify a little bit about that second game around, about if this would have happened, if that would have happened. We could all say that all season long. But the thing is the Commander made plays when they had to make plays in that game. And and this time around, you just can't look at Terry McLaurin because De'Ami Brown has stepped up. OZ has stepped up, and Hurts, all of these guys that were not in the mix of the offense making plays. Now they're more comfortable now, which is helping out where Terry doesn't have to be the guy that does it all, or they have to totally concentrate on him. Other people now have stepped up big, and you said the key thing is turnovers too. But my concern with Jalen Hurts is with the concussion situation that has lingered on for weeks and everything. And we know when you get a leg injury of any kind, and the way he went down, I don't care. He's not going to be 100%. He's not going to be the same Jalen Hurts that can dance around the field, and that means that Commanders can concentrate a little bit more on Saquon Barkley in, as you say, stacking the box. But what they learned of going up against 2 running backs in Detroit, now they have 1, and I'm not taking it away because Saquon Barkley is going to get his. But if they can just slow him a little bit, and the secondary impressed me against Detroit because they took those receivers out, and Lattimore is much healthier now time around than he was before. I mean, he's had a couple of weeks and he didn't show any signs of that hamstring last week. He shut down, Williams for the most part. So I'm looking at the Commanders. They're just playing hot ball right now. And I think that because they got that confidence, and everybody know going into this, you get that confidence moving on. You're not afraid of anybody. So to me, the Commanders don't have the weight on their backs. It's Philadelphia that, to me, has more stress on their end because Washington is just coming in and just saying, we're coming in to just do what we do.
Washington going into Philly is like Washington going into Detroit. Like all the pressure is on the home team. They're the road warriors. They're doing what they need to do. I do remember in the first game they kind of neutralized Saquon. It was the third and fourth quarter in that first game where Saquon got off, right? And then in that second half, everybody was talking about, well, Jalen. It would have been a different game with Jalen Hurts. Saquon Barkley only ran for 27 yards in the second half of that second game, right? So they have had levels and they have had moments of success stopping the run. But my whole thing is where it's going to be decided for me is the health of that offensive line with Sam Cosmi going out and Scott having to come in, and Jalen Carter, he is a problem. He is a huge problem. And I think that offensive line was one of the unsung heroes in that game in Detroit. Like Donna said, going in there in that loud environment, very minimal penalties on holding, very minimal penalties on offsides to keep that unit, right? So Daniels can do what he needs to do. That is going to be paramount in this game in a ruckus environment again. And for me, I'd rather be playing the enemy that I do know versus the one that I don't. So going up against Philly that you've seen twice versus maybe playing the Rams is going to be a very, very interesting matchup.
All right. And A.J. Brown, I think, is going to be a key because that first game that Philly won against us, A.J. had a pretty good game, but he and Jaylen have not been connecting so well lately. So, as a matter of fact, Jaylen had no touchdown passes last game. So, it's going to be a quarterback thing. Jayden, I think if he keeps playing the way he's playing, and Jaylen has a poor game or an average game, I think it's going to be a Washington victory. Let's talk a little bit about the
I need to hear Santana's thoughts, though. Marvin, you guys are like Lou, Donna, Marvin have been so positive. I need to hear Santana's thoughts about this game, too.
He said he told you. He told you, you keep doing this. He told you, you keep doing that.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'll just say this. I love how confident you guys are. That actually makes me feel better about how I feel. You guys are riding with all that confidence. I like that.
I wanted to up on the side of just telling you about your mocking us, but at the end of the day, I know our biggest thing is to make sure that we try to bottle up Saquon Barkley. I think that's the key to me. That's one of the, that's how we secure the victory. But with that being said, is what Jalen Hurts are we going to get? I've seen Jalen Hurts go out there at times where he threw the ball well in games, and I've seen him at times where he seemed like he don't know who to throw the ball to. So that's going to be a big indicator to me how Jalen Hurts come out and attack this game. To me, I think they're going to come out passing because everybody's thinking that something's wrong with his arm. So they're going to throw some plays in there to get him going, get him in his, get his momentum going in the passing game. But I think the number one, factor for us defensively is to bottle up Saquon. Now, will Saquon get his? I think likely so. He will. But as a whole, we have to find a way to where, like we did a little bit in that first game, where he found his way once the momentum shifted, and that's when he got those two big gashing plays. For us offensively, what I believe that will allow us to secure the win is, keeping ourselves above the change, in front of the change. If we find ourselves in a situation where, like it was last week when we was in Detroit, where we're moving the ball down the field, sustaining those drives, clock and all that stuff and above, we have a great chance to keep everything in our hands. And I think offensively, man, right now, the way these guys are playing, the way, you got to give a lot of credit to Cliff Kingsbury. I think he's scheming up the things that we thought Cliff Kingsbury couldn't do this late in the season. I heard so much talk about him. Oh, well, the second half of Cliff Kingsbury doesn't always fare out well, but seems to me that Cliff is being in his bag, along with Jayden going out there and being comfortable. And that's another thing. Our offensive line with Cosme down, if we can keep Jayden comfortable, man, it's going to be one of those situations, man. Can they tame him? Can they slow him down? And right now, he seemed not to be phased. So, that's my take on it. And it can go any way. I respect Philly. I'm not going to sit here and act like they're not, juggernauts. They are. Yeah. Man for man, they're a scary team. Yeah. But at the same time, when you're riding with us, you don't see nobody. You know what I mean? So it's going to be one of those games.
One of those games to the point where this could come down to a field goal, and Philly's kicker, Jake Elliott, he ain't right. He hasn't been right in months, and that scares the hell out of all of us in Philadelphia. Trust me.
We our guy doinks things off of a goalpost and everything like
You're
that.
You're the guy who's got the hair, right? He does the hair thing, right? Yeah. Like he's got that little tick, right? That nervous little. Yeah.
I think both of us are a little nervous when it comes
to.
Well, let's get the opinion of you guys on the Kansas City Buffalo situation. Can Buffalo finally do it? Can they beat Kansas City? Everybody, we got about a minute left. Everybody give their take on that, because
I'll jump out there. It seems this the year for Buffalo, but I feel like that's every year, right?
Yeah.
And when it comes to Mahomes and Andy Reid, it's hard to pick. It's hard to go against them. So until Buffalo show me that they can take them down, I'm gonna ride with KC.
Yeah, I think it comes down to one thing. Who beats themselves first? Because the Chiefs don't beat themselves. They don't have more penalties. They don't have turnovers. And they wait for you to blink first. Very much like the Patriots dynasty. The Patriots, some of those teams, they won Super Bowls because other teams messed up, right? And that's where the Chiefs are. The Chiefs wait for you to screw up. So it's a question of who's going to screw up. Is Josh Allen going to screw up? Because he didn't against Lamar Jackson, right? Can he protect the football? Can Buffalo's special teams play a role here? Can their defense not make a mistake? Because 15, Mahomes, he's not going to make mistakes.
And they're playing at Arrowhead Stadium, so I'm giving them the edge right there. And they've been there over and over again. So I'm not betting against Kansas City, and they've gotten healthy right now. They're playing some great ball. They may not put all the points on, but they know how to win games.
Andy Reid. Andy Reid. Okay. Kevin's seen it. Other people have seen it. In the league right now, the greatest leader of men right now in this league, right now, Andy Reid. Yep. Andy Reid. He finds a way to do it every single year, whether it's Mahomes, whether it's Kelsey, whether it's Pacheco, he finds ways to do it. And he talk about not being phased. Andy Reid is not phased. And I would never bet against Andy Reid because his, how should I say, level of work just has you believe. Like Kevin's saying, he's going to be right there.
All right. Well, thanks so much, guys. And you guys were great. Thanks, Kevin, for coming down, zooming in with us. Great job.
Grad school, buddy.
Appreciate you guys. Hey, just good luck. I just want to wish you guys good luck. I'm not throwing batteries. I don't boo. I don't, although Santa deserved it. If you guys know the backstory, he deserved the snowball. But I will say this, the place is going to be rocking. It should be a good game. Thanks for having me on.
All right. Thanks, everybody. And thanks a lot for joining us on Sideline Report. I'm Marvin Jackson. And for everyone on our team, the Sideline Report team, we'll see you next time on the sideline. Take care, everybody.